Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Daniela and today we'll continue with Mindhunter, this time the third episode of the second season. In the last episode, Bill went to investigate one of the cases um, connected to the BTK. It seemed like it was kind of one of the first. Whole family unfortunately fell victim to him. Also, he went to talk with a person that escaped, a victim that was still alive. Unfortunately, his sister didn't, and also he was extremely lucky to survive. He, of course, remained with PTSD, paranoia, not talking about the scars on his face because he got shot and somehow survived. Didn't want to give. It's not that he didn't want. He didn't want to talk too much because he's still afraid that the killer is still after him, which I don't blame him. And also because of the scars, he didn't want to be looked at. He, you know, relived his experience, trying to give something to Bill that could, help him in the investigation into catching the BTK killer. Just said that one of the most important thing was that he was wearing a watch, kind of a military one that BTK took from the other family that he killed. Also, Bill and hold on, interviewed son of Sam, got some insights into his mind from him, and it was because the BTK killer kind of is taking inspiration from him. So that's that. And they say that for sure he goes back to the places where he killed just to relive the moment, not time. And also that, the whole thing with the dog and hearing voices and being possessed or something like that was totally bullshit, which of course it was. So yeah, can't wait to see this episode. Anyway, as usual, I got something to drink. The episode is ready to start, so without further ado, let's do this.
The library's closing.
Oh, thank you.
I just can't get it out of my head. A dead body in my first listing.
Are you okay?
I don't want to go back to that house.
Give it time. We'll get the details.
Bill, why do the police want my shoes? Am I a suspect?
It's standard elimination procedure.
Our phone number's on that for sale sign. We have to take it down.
Nancy, that sign is evidence now. We can't touch
Can
it.
you please take my name and number off? Please.
I'll make a phone call.
Jim Barney will be at the airport. He's still really interested in what we're doing here, so I said we could grab a cup of coffee.
Tim Barney, why does that name sound familiar?
You met him at the office. He interviewed for Greg's position.
Oh,
Oh yeah, the black guy you like.
I'll call him and tell him you're solo today.
Okay, thanks.
why is not to like? He seemed very competent.
Mom,
Hey, bud.
I'm sorry.
Ryan. What happened?
why don't you wait for me in the bathroom and we'll get you all cleaned up?
I'm sorry.
It's all right, honey. Go ahead.
So how's the new guy working out?
Gun?
No, the other fellow. Smith.
Greg. Mixed bag. Not all bad. About as well as nepotism ever does.
That's too bad.
How quickly can you ingest this file on William Pierce?
Already did that. And hands.
As I said, very competent.
Do you mind if I take my wife's name and phone number off this sign? She's a little squeamish.
I don't see why not. I'll have it pulled and brought inside.
Got it.
We used the code your wife gave us to open the lockbox, but there were no keys in it. Back door was open when we got here. There were no signs of trauma to the hands or feet. There were bruises on the neck and back of his head. He may have been dragged down the stairs.
A lot of footprints.
Adults and kids.
Wait, adults and kids? I hope the kids were with the parents that were looking at the house.
A baby.
Toddler. 22 months.
Did you see that he was dragged down the
He
stairs?
was tied to 2 pieces of old flooring, very carefully placed.
Crucified. Any adornments? Candles? Flowers?
None. The face was covered with a rag. I think it might be a cult.
Wouldn't be my first impression. They tend to be more elaborate.
I speak 7 languages, you know.
No, I didn't know that.
Spanish, German, French, Russian, Libyan, and Apache.
That's 6.
Well, I speak 7.
English?
Bingo.
How about your family?
Only mama. Shit for brains. Barely converting English. But she loved me. Daddy, he weren't stupid. Got my intellect from his side. Run his mouth like no one's. One day, he ran. He bugged the PISS out of me.
The 8 murders.
I like to answer them questions specificus. It's Latin, but I can't. I ain't done 8
It
murders.
says right here, December 1970, you
That
raped...
confession was coerced. Here,
Of course it was.
he put a cigarette out on my privates.
Okay then, 7 murders.
No, can't talk about 7 murders, 'cause I ain't done 7 murders neither.
The waitress, Kathy.
I ain't murdered any waitress.
The housekeeper.
I ain't murdered
Don't get
Virginia
it, he's
neither.
innocent.
I ain't murdered Hazel.
There
Junior,
because he's
You
innocent.
confessed to
Well,
all
it's-
3 of those.
Wouldn't be so
Obviously.
weird
Erogeously?
Wrongly.
to be convicted for something that you
I did
haven't
not
done,
murder
but
them women.
Then why confess? You can't confess to crimes and then turn around and say you didn't commit them.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I don't know, it's rarely to confess something. Even when you are convicted wrongly, most of the people will, you know,
That
say
judge
are
on them
innocent.
cases, he said I was continent to stand trial. I was intimated.
Intimate?
Why are you always repeating my
Intimidated?
words?
You want one?
Love one.
You drove a truck, right?
Yes, sir.
Now it's with Sir.
I'm clairvoyant. Use my psychic magnet, telepathy. Everybody started asking me about them murders. I turned up my 6th sense. Told them exactly how each one happened, where the bodies was at. I helped them families. I alloyed their distress me.
Can I ask about the other murders? Gas station attendants, the store owner, and the clerk?
Oh, yeah. I did those.
What is it you do, Special Agent Ford of the FBI?
Well, Holden is with a very important office, and he handles cases just like y'all's.
How old are you, Agent Ford?
I'm almost 30.
He won't do us any good. No one will listen to him. Thank you for coming here, Agent Ford.
This is my daughter, Angel. Angel didn't come home. I called the police. They said, give a couple days. Near the woods over on Kimbleton Road. That's where they found the body.
My son, Yusuf, was at Dunbar Elementary. Yusuf, like Angel, never came back. Nobody asked how the body of a 9-year-old boy gets stuffed in a maintenance trap. A hole in the concrete of an abandoned school the way Yusuf's had. We waited, we prayed, but we are done. Our children are dying, and someone must do something about it. I found Angel. She had someone else's underwear stuffed down her throat. My son Yusuf, his feet had been carefully washed by whoever strangled him. Willie Mae's child is still missing. Who knows where he is or what's been done to him?
In this first letter, you said the abduction of Gail Jackson was revenge for the deaths of 7 elderly white women in Columbus, and that you would kill Gail if the strangler wasn't caught. How did you think it would help you contacting the police?
Everybody was scared of the stocking strangler, and he's looking for a black man for that.
You didn't have anything to do with those murders. But when you first sent this letter, the police didn't know Gail Jackson was missing.
That's why I had to tell him.
You also told them where to find the body once she was killed.
Can't be after those white men if they don't have no body for no killing.
But you see that
But initially you were pretending she was
Right.
just kidnapped, not dead.
we're
That's
treating.
how I was gonna get the ransom.
You demand $10,000 for her return.
Because they still think she kidnapped.
Was that
You
after?
already told them where to find the body.
Oh my god.
They didn't think there was a body yet. How am I gonna throw them off my trail if they ain't going after those white men for her murder?
Now, these letters are all written on Army stationery from your base.
Yep.
Did you do that deliberately?
Yes.
Were you at all worried the police might trace the stationery back to you?
No. Because I told them not to worry about it.
It worked. It's horrible because he's a horrible person that killed people.
Hickman, Gail
But damn.
Jackson, and Irene Thurkiel at local bars?
Yes, sir. They always at the bars. Can't help but see the same folks.
When you went to the bars, were you looking for
Come on, hold on. Maybe get somewhere you can learn something from everyone, no matter who they are. It's a bit, I don't know if annoying, but Holden, his attitude is kind of.
the first woman, Karen Hickman? She was different from them, right? Karen was white. The other women were black.
Oh shit, he's trying to figure out if it
Is
was
it
like
possible
a
that the fact that she
racial
was white
thing.
was a reason you picked her?
Never seen her as that.
Is anyone examining the obvious similarities here? 6 children of the same socioeconomic background abducted in broad daylight. It's clearly an homogenous victim pool.
That's how the mothers are hoping you'll look at it. We average 8 to 10 child murders every year. Atlanta has the 4th highest murder rate in this country, so these kids, sadly, they don't represent a blip. To be honest, I don't see a link in these cases. If you're looking for a monster, it's poverty. Family Services already had files on some of these, and they reopened every single one of them to investigate. We're the first large southern city to elect a black mayor. That's progress. And he's trying to build the world's largest airport to attract business dollars. White flights taking the tax base he needs to do it to the suburbs. Trying to keep the noise down. High murder rate, even the whisper of a predator. That shit scares dollars away. Agent Ford, you might have something here. The truth is, and we all hate to admit this, but to find connections, unfortunately, we have to wait for more bodies.
Grunt back to rest.
Waste of time.
It was fairly obvious that you lost interest during both interviews. I mean, if Jim Barney wasn't there, it would have been a complete waste of time.
From now on, we have to interview subjects who can, at the very least, tie their own footwear.
My son told me the other night he's scared to fall asleep because I don't know if I won't wake up like Daniel.
Let me reassure you, this has nothing to do with a cult or anything like that.
Are you looking for a tour guide? Or a date?
A date.
Wendy, baby, don't you have a girlfriend though? So that was, I think that was the 3rd episode of the 2nd season. Slowly going to the end of the show, and it's a bit disappointing that apparently there won't be a 3rd season, and there is another show that won't be finished, was cancelled, or they stopped producing, and no, it's a shame because it's quite interesting. So what happened at the house that Nancy was trying to sell? Well, we don't know exactly who did it, but there were adult and child footprints And in the basement, there was a baby. They or he or her or whoever was it, I think there were more than one, crucified him and strangled and had bumps behind its head, like they were dragging the baby down the stairs, which is weird. I mean, everything is weird about it, but I have, if you're like a grown person, why would you drag a baby, like holding its feet and then dragging down the stairs? I don't know, again, I don't know why it feels weird. I don't know exactly how many killers, criminals will kill a baby. Like a baby that small. Usually is the one that are close to the baby that do something like this, like mothers, fathers, relatives, usually. Then serial killers or criminals, they don't usually go for baby this small. It definitely feels like when they start, with small animals, because they are small and they could be controlled more easily, and is that kind of power dynamic. They're helpless. It feels like that because like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old could like it would make sense to drag a baby down the stairs, but damn, crucifying him like that. And I hope at least by the end of the season we're gonna find out who did it. At least this. Then Holden went to Atlanta to interview some more criminals, and for him it was a miss. He was very bored by everything, didn't find anything interesting in both of them, just lost the interest completely. Also, kind of not necessarily against his will, but he didn't know what happened. He got a talk with some mothers that lost their kids, and which is unfortunate. Each one died horrible, in a horrible way, and they are trying to find the culprit because they think there's a pattern and someone is actually hunting their kids. But hold on, had a talk with, I forgot what exactly was his position, and he said that it's normal, 10 deaths per year of children is normal, it's nothing out of the ordinary, which is so weird and unsettling. He kind of blamed the environment, oh, this one was shot, probably drugs were involved, this was neglect, and this was, I don't know, and this, we don't know what happened with him, and this, yeah, sure, this one was actually abused, But the other ones, you know, they are nothing, they don't have anything in common, and you know, sometimes it's the abuse at home and the poverty, and then that, you know, the mayor is trying to keep everything under the radar because he's trying to do something there to kind of evolve Atlanta, make it a wealthier place with airport and all that, and that's why the police is being quieter, which, I mean, isn't that what always happened? The unfortunate thing where some people with not so much influence have to suffer and take the hit for others. And I mean, I don't know much about, you know, the history. I know, let's say, the basics of the struggles and the horrible things that African Americans had to deal in America. At oh, they always say about the talk about the poverty, but from what I know, you know, white people and the ones in power put the black people in this, what are called ghettos, if I remember. Hope I'm not wrong. You know, just live there by your own and kind of forget about them. Just deal how you can, you know. And no, they don't, especially in the 70s, you know, and 60s, they didn't have the same opportunities even if they wanted to work to get out of this poverty. There were no opportunities for them, and you know, the school what was how it was, and the work was how it worked. So how it was, so how exactly can you get out of poverty when you are not pretty much allowed to? Very few have the opportunity, or had the opportunity. Well, that was an interesting episode, definitely. Can't wait to see the next one. But for now, this is all I have to say. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.